Hello book friends, I'm Allie, and today I'm going to be talking about the John Newbery Medal Award for books, exclusively children's literature. So you may have seen these medals on your books before. These little gold circles, they say John Newbery Medal for the most distinguished contribution to American literature for children. So some of the covers are going to have, it's almost like a sticker stuck to it, and some of the covers are just going to have this where it's not raised up at all. This medal was originally started in 1922 by the American Library Association, and every year since then they select one book that exceeds expectations in children's literature and provides material that they feel is relevant to modern history. So all of the books that have been awarded the Newbery Medal have contributed to children's literature in some way in order to make a difference. So today I wanted to give you 5 recommendations of Newbery Award-winning books that I felt were very, very well done and that I really enjoyed. Some of my favorites that I've read. So I'm going to start with the most recent book and go to the oldest books. The first one is When You Reach Me by Rebecca Stead. This one was awarded the Newbery Medal in 2010. And this book is about a girl who goes to school in New York City, and her life starts to get a little weird. She starts running into people who seem to know things that she doesn't know. She gets a weird letter in the mail, and her friend starts acting kind of strange, and it is loosely tied to A Wrinkle in Time. And the main girl in this book loves the book A Wrinkle in Time, and you can definitely see connections between this book and A Wrinkle in Time. And this book was a really fun read. It teaches a lot about friendship and about family and about loving what you have in the moment and appreciating everything that you have. This book made me laugh, it made me cry. It's an excellent book and you should definitely check it out. The next book is Holes by Louis Sachar. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. Sachar maybe? Anyway, this book was awarded the Newbery Medal in 1999. This book follows a little boy named Stanley, and he believes that his family has a curse, that bad things always happen to, I believe it's just the men in his family, but he 100% believes that gypsies cursed his family. And one day he gets accused of a robbery that he didn't commit. He gets sent to a camp for boys who have done bad things. And at this camp he makes new friends, and they learn secrets about the camp, and there are secrets about his family that are uncovered. This book is just so well written. Once you get into it, you don't want to put it down. It's a wonderful book, and you just really want to know what happens to Stanley and his family and why his family is cursed and how he could possibly break the curse if it is true. It's such a well done book, and I highly recommend this. The next book I don't actually have anymore. I can't find my copy. I'm not really sure what happened. I think the last time we moved it got misplaced. It is The Giver by Lois Lowry, and it was awarded the Newbery Medal in 1994. That book is about a dystopian society, and one central person has all of the knowledge, and everyone else who lives in this community does what they're supposed to do. They are given a job, they are given a title, basically, what they do for their whole life, and they live day in, day out doing the jobs that they are supposed to do. And this one boy is learning information from the old man who's called the Giver, because he gives information. And I don't want to say much more than that because it is a very profound book and I don't want to give anything away. But if you like dystopian stories, and if you like something that's got a very deep, thoughtful message, then I highly recommend this book. What I love also about this book is that the ending can be taken differently depending on what age you are. So as a young child, you might see the ending a lot different than an adult would see it who has more experience with life. And some people may not like the ending at all because it isn't exactly wrapped up, I would say. It kind of leaves you guessing to think more deeply about it. But I personally loved that about that book. The next book I have already talked about before, and that's The Weston Game by Ellen Raskin. This book won the Newbery Medal in 1979, and this follows a group of people who all move into an apartment together, and then they all find out that they're part of the will of Samuel Westing, and he wants them to participate in a game to figure out who killed him. And so all of these very quirky characters get wrapped up into this mystery and are trying to solve it, and they're kind of at odds against one another, and it is from the point of view of third-person omniscience, so it's going to transfer between people's point of views rather fluidly, and I thought that that was a really clever way to do this, so you can kind of see how each person is trying to solve the mystery on their own. So this book was wonderful and is not very long, and it is just very absorbing. You don't expect the ending that you get from this book, and it has so many lessons packed into it, and I could totally understand why this is a contribution to American literature for children. The next book is From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler, and this is by E.L. Konigsberg. It's a very interesting last name. I'm not sure if that's going to focus. This was awarded the medal in 1968, and this book is about a little girl who has a large family, and she is discontent. She feels like she's always overlooked. She feels like she doesn't really belong, that her family kind of bullies her, so she calculates which of her siblings would be the best sibling to run away with. And she persuades her sibling to run away with her, and they run away to a museum in New York, and they live in the museum. And it is the story of these two children who go off on their own and like have to survive on their own and think things through by themselves as adults would, and live in the museum. The way that these children's personalities are portrayed is superb. It's amazing to see how the author put the perspective of life into these children's views, and seeing them rationalize and live day to day and try to figure out what exactly it is they are trying to do. It felt very impactful. This is one of my favorite books that I've read that is, I think, considered a classic because it's old enough now. And I highly recommend this. This is a wonderful read. The last book I have is A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle, and this was awarded the Newbery Medal in 1963. This book is science fiction, and it follows a girl named Meg, and her father has been missing for quite a while, and her little brother Charles Wallace is very, very astute for his age. Together, they decide to travel through time and space to find their father, and it is the adventure of what they do along the way and some very important life lessons that they learn about family and about believing in yourself and about friendships. This book is excellent, and to be quite honest, when I read it in 5th grade, I hated it. I could not stand this book, and I remember my grandma telling me, when you get older, you're going to appreciate that book for a lot of different reasons. I have read and reread this book so many times. It is such an excellent story, and honestly the end is a little bit scary. There is a bad guy of sorts that they encounter, and that bad guy is someone that I would not personally want to reckon with. This is one of my favorite books of all time, and if you haven't read it, then I definitely suggest you do. So those are my favorite so far that I've read of the Newbery Award-winning books, and I plan to start reading a Newbery Medal book once a month and reviewing those books for you guys. I'm going to start in the present because some of the older books are really difficult to find. There are a handful that are still easily located, but there are some that are impossible to find. So I'll start in the present, and I'm going to read them and review them and chat about them with you. And if you're interested in these, be sure to drop me a comment down below, and I'll talk about it with you. I know right now there are some parents who are starting homeschooling because of everything that's going on in the world, and I would be happy to review more children's books. If you have any questions about these books that I just talked about, please drop me a comment and we'll chat about it. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later.